Organizational change management is no longer optional. It is now a major component that determines whether projects succeed or fail. With structured change management training and a repeatable change management methodology, you will be ready to reduce resistance, increase adoption, and help your organization realize the full value of change. Here is the approach for mastering change management and also increasing your organizational change management expertise and successes. It involves the four change management phases, starting with the assess phase, then the develop phase, the implement phase, and also the normalize phase. We will come back to this methodology later on in today's change management training. About a decade after Steve Jobs retired and Tim Cook became CEO, I was hired to establish Apple's first ever B2B change management practice from scratch. The organizational change management training I will be providing to you today is the same one that has allowed me to increase change management successes across organizations including Apple, Gap Inc., Cisco, Intel, Microsoft, Goldman Sachs, Yale University, HSBC, and many other large organizations. This OCM training video also introduces the main principles of change management and explains what you will need to know to get started in the change management field. Whether you are a beginner or even an experienced change management practitioner, or a project, program, or transformation lead responsible for guiding changes across your organization, this change management training session will give you a solid foundation. So, what is organizational change management? And why is it important for you to know the real definition? Organizational change management, also known as OCM, is the structured approach to helping people transition from where they are today, known as the current state, to where they need to be in the future, and you guessed it, known as the future state. Change management is not the same as project management. Project management delivers the solution, for example, a new system, a new process, or a new tool. Change management ensures that people accept, embrace, adopt, and sustain using the new solution. Change management is about preparing, equipping, and supporting impacted individuals and teams through change so the organization achieves its desired outcomes. As we progress with today's change management training, here are key aspects for you to keep in mind. Key aspects of change management include people-centered approach. Organizational change management focuses on how change impacts employees, managers, and leaders. Another key aspect is a structured process. Change management involves phases, plans, and methodologies to manage adoption. Another key aspect is sustainment focus. So beyond your go live, organizational change management ensures that new behaviors stick and that business value is realized. So think about project management as delivering the what, the system, the process, or the tool, and organizational change management as delivering the how, ensuring that people actually use the solution successfully. So, when mastering best change management practices, it helps if you apply this easy to use change methodology that I have on my screen. You want to start each project with the change management assess phase. During this assess stage, you will want to do what we call OCM discovery and mobilization, which is basically organizational change management discovery and mobilization. This is where the change resource or the change team ramps up on the project. You will want to meet with project leads to align on scope, objectives, and timelines. This includes doing discovery to understand the business drivers behind the project, as well as understanding early stakeholder perspectives. Something else you will also want to do during the assess phase is conducting your risk and resistance assessments, which helps you identify where resistance is most likely to surface. You will also want to conduct your stakeholder analysis and change impact assessments, where you map out who is impacted, at what level, and in what way. You also want to conduct your readiness and change management saturation assessments. This is where you assess how prepared the organization is for change. You will also want to conduct enablement needs assessments, which helps you identify what specific support impacted users, champions, stakeholders, and leaders will need to be successful. In addition, during the assess stage, you will want to implement an adoption baseline. What exactly is this? An adoption baseline is basically establishing the starting point that you will measure success in the future. Examples of an adoption baseline could be the current usage levels of a system. Another baseline is what is the level of awareness of the initiative today. And when I do change management consulting, I also send out a baseline survey to gather people's current state readiness levels. By knowing where you are starting from, you can measure success and also progress and be able to demonstrate to your leaders tangible improvements. And one thing for you to keep in mind is everything that we are going over with you today, we are actually providing you with over 100 free templates for you to do communications, for you to do change impact, for you to do stakeholder analysis, for you to do change saturation assessments, and a lot more. During the develop phase of your change management implementation is where you develop your change management strategies and playbook. The change management playbook outlines the guiding principles, the standard approaches, and the repeatable practices that will be applied across the project. This change management playbook ensures consistency while allowing for targeted change management approach. And as I mentioned earlier, we do have a free change management strategic playbook that you can access and download and start using today. You also want to develop your change management plans, which involves your detailed communications plan. A plan outlines the step-by-step approach that you will be using to implement something. So communications plan, training plan, leadership and sponsorship engagement plan. Now, something to keep in mind is this. not every project will require every single deliverable that you are looking at on this slide. So, for example, not every project will require a training plan. If it is a small change that doesn't really require hands-on training, it might just require an FAQ. Okay. In addition, not every project will require a leadership engagement or enablement plan if it's just a small project. So we will discuss flexibility as part of today's change management training. But something for you to keep in mind right now is not everything on this slide is mandatory. Something to keep in mind is a change management plan outlines the who, the what, the when, and the how. And they ensure that organizational change management activities are well coordinated with project milestones. Putting together a roadmap is another key change management activities during the develop phase. The roadmap outlines when communications, training, readiness checks, and feedback loops will happen. It gives stakeholders a clear view of how change management unfolds over time. It helps demonstrate that change management is not a one off event, but a sustained event. You also want to ensure that change management is integrated with the project plan and represented in the governance structure. All right, before we go on, if you are into change management, do give this video a like or subscribe to our growing community of people who love organizational change management as much as you do. All right, as part of today's change management training, let us quickly go over the implement phase. The implement phase is when you want to roll out your change management deliverables. That includes your awareness communications, your go live countdowns, your get ready communications, and other updates types of communications. This is when you also kick off your change champion network and deliver engagement and enablement sessions to empower and equip champions. It is also during this stage that you deliver your sponsor and leadership enablement. Sponsors and leaders are critical to success, and so we need them to be visible advocates of the change to help sustain the new behaviors. It is also during this stage that you enable impacted users. You want to provide users with training, guides, FAQs, and support that they need to successfully adopt the change. This normally goes beyond training sessions to include FAQs, office hours. Office hours is basically you scheduling a session that anyone can drop in to ask questions or to seek help. And when they have their questions answered, they can hop off the call. Office hours is normally 30 minutes or 60 minutes, and you can have multiple office hours during the week or during the weeks around go live. During office hours, you want to ensure you have the project team or SMEs that can help answer technical questions. During this stage, you also want to deliver your risk and resistance management. You should also be monitoring ongoing resistance points to make sure you quickly identify when resistance is growing and to immediately mitigate those. You also want to get ready for go live. And in some cases, the project team might ask you for help with UAT support, which basically involves sending out UAT communications to let people know there will be a UAT kickoff call, helping to facilitate the UAT kickoff, And when UAT is in progress, doing a surveys or talking to UAT users to help gather their feedback on the user experience. Adoption metrics and insights is another key aspect that you want to be tracking. Track adoption through the Change Champion Network. Track adoption with impacted users via surveys. Look at system usage, attendance records, or through feedback channels. And also make sure you are sharing insights with leadership to demonstrate progress. Identify gaps and implement interventions. By having data-driven insights, you have credibility in the eyes of the leaders that will be looking at the activities that you are delivering. One important takeaway from today's change management training is this: flexibility, meaning that you should be comfortable moving things around. Just because a change management deliverable is under a particular phase does not mean it cannot be started early or later. For example, based on your initial round of assessments, you might find out that you need to send out awareness communication ASAP, as soon as possible, in which case you don't want to wait until the implement phase to send out those communications. You want to send them out as soon as possible. That is what we mean by you want to take this change management methodology as a guideline and not having everything be considered as mandatory. So for our change management training, the final stage of an effective change management approach is the normalize phase. During the normalize stage, you still want to send out communications, but this time your communications will include go live, post go live, and status updates types of communications. You also want to sustain support and education by conducting support calls, which is also known as office hours. You want to provide ongoing training to people that need additional training, as well as providing any additional coaching as needed. You also want to ensure that you are continuously gathering feedback and improving your change management approach. You also want to implement reinforcement activities, for example, recognitions, celebrations, and providing incentives. One way in which I have been very, very successful when doing change management as a senior consultant is I will have leadership, for example, the executive sponsors or a VP or senior director or senior VP, and have them send out a communication recognizing targeted individuals that have gone far and beyond in adopting the change. That really makes a difference in getting everyone else to want to do more when it comes to adopting the changes. Keep that in mind. Something else you should consider during the normalize phase is adoption and value realization tracking. So you want to track whether the change is achieving intended business outcomes. You don't only want to track adoption metrics and KPIs, you also want to track business outcomes. This can mean increased productivity, improved efficiency, cost savings, compliance, or even customer satisfaction. Value tracking links organizational change management success directly to organizational results. And then we have the organizational change management transition and handover, where at the end of the project or the program, you want to transition your change management responsibilities to a business as usual stakeholder. This life cycle that we are looking at here on this slide ensures adoption is not only achieved, but also sustained. So here is a question that your manager, your leadership, stakeholders, or even if you are doing an interview, people might ask you. Why is change management important and why do you need to spend time doing it? Here is how to respond. You want to let them know that organizational change management matters because without effective and structured change management, even the best initiatives can fail. Change management allows us, change practitioners, to reduce high failure rates. Studies show that up to 70% of projects miss their goals because of a lack of adoption. Change management also reduces resistance. Employees resist due to many factors, and by implementing change management, you can reduce that. Change management also reduces leadership gaps as well as reduces change fatigue. When organizations overload employees with initiatives, adoption drops, and change management can reduce change fatigue. And now, here is a question for you. What are key principles of organizational change management? Don't worry, I will tell you. To build a strong foundation, organizational change management practitioners and leads have to understand several key concepts. One, sponsorship and leadership is very, very important. Leaders have to be visible and active in change efforts. Their role is to model behaviors, communicate importance, and reinforce adoption. And so we, change practitioners, we have to support our leaders to ensure that they can play this critical role. Another key aspect is communication. Clear, ongoing, audience specific communication is critical. Communication should explain the why behind the change and give employees a voice. Another key component is training and enablement. Employees need the right skills and resources to adopt new tools or behaviors. Training, guides, and job aids increase confidence and reduce resistance. Another key principle to effective change management is a change champion network. So, networks of local advocates help spread the message, provide colleague to colleague support, and identify resistance early. Another key change management principle is managing resistance. Resistance is normal. The goal is to surface resistance early, understand concerns, and address them constructively. Another key change management principle is reinforcement. Sustaining adoption requires recognition, celebration, and embedding new behaviors into the new way of doing things. We have gone over a lot of topics as part of today's change management training. To put all of these training into practice, it helps when you apply the four-stage scalable change management methodology that we went over as part of today's change management training session. Organizational change management is no longer optional. By continuing to invest in your own change management training, you will gain the skills needed to be a successful change practitioner. And to help increase your success, we have put together a detailed, free change management program for you. See the link below. And if you need hands-on change management coaching, or if you need a senior change management consultant to support you and your organization, feel free to reach out to me. My contact link is below this video. And don't forget to like this video, as that really lets us know you got value from it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more content like this one.